Wow, welcome back, me. Yeah, I missed a few days. Oh my God, I'm so tired. I got off work. I really worked hard today. Um, so yeah, the 6th, January 6th was my 13th anniversary with my partner. And try as I might, I just couldn't justify streaming that day because we had a bunch of fun things planned. So we ended up doing all those things and cooking this amazing dinner with like Cornish game hens, and oh my god, it was so good. So yeah, I just didn't get around to streaming. Feel kind of a little bit bad about it, but not too bad. And then yesterday worked really hard. Had like a board meeting for this nonprofit, and I couldn't even go to the meeting. I was so tired because I was just really exhausted after working my ass off all day long. So yeah, I guess I'm not gonna be doing the 30 days, 30 streams scenario. I think that's really hard unless you're just like completely dedicated to being a quote unquote YouTuber. Otherwise, like forget about it. You're just you're like competing with every other thing going on in your life, and if you've got like a day job or something, it's gonna be pretty hard to juggle all those balls, I think. Unless you have a really easy job or like an office job or something. So yeah, anyway, that's the story. Today was kind of nice though. It was just as exhausting as the other days, but more like edifying because we're prepping some beds to plant some blueberries. And I'm like super excited about that because it's just such a cool plant. If you really take care of a blueberry, it can live to be 50 years old. So, I mean, yeah, it's like a tree, even though it's this little bush that makes these delicious, incredibly nutritious blueberries, which I think blueberries might be my favorite berry. Although salmonberry and thimbleberry are kind of like a close second and third, I guess. Thimbleberries are really cool because they grow indigenously on um, like in Northern California where I live, but they unlike Siberian blackberries or even the California blackberry, which also grows somewhat indigenously here, they're just like a really beautiful plant. Everything about them is just gorgeous. And the berries themselves are just really beautiful and soft and have a pleasant taste. But blueberries are kind of special because they're like a bog growing plant. In fact, there's a really amazing article online all about the history of blackberry domestic or blueberry domestication, which I highly recommend. I'm gonna go to this Plume Sim just because it's a black box and there's a few people on it, but I'm still curious. Nice architecture. Yeah, so once again, I have no idea if my video card might just die at any time, so keep that in mind as you're watching. Look at that detail. I've been listening to this podcast at work. It's called the Philosophy Zone. I just started it yesterday. It's kind of cool. feel like I've learned some stuff. The first episode was like amazing. Like it blew my mind, and then the, pretty much every episode after that I've listened to have just been kind of mediocre retreads. Of course, they mentioned like Marx right away, and like it seems to be a disproportionate focus on Western philosophers. I was talking to my coworker today because we were kind of listening to the podcast together, just how like ridiculous it is that so much of philosophy is static, and it's like there were these people in the past who were considered to be luminaries. Oh, this is a beautiful build right here. Gotta see who made this. Danny. Nina Helix. Really well done. But yeah, like all the great philosophers of the past are kind of like considered to be the last word in philosophy. And even though there's a lot of modern philosophers nowadays, they're pretty much just all kind of like studying or referencing the work of ancient philosophers and like trying to build upon that to some degree. But philosophy is, I don't know, I consider it kind of a pseudoscience. I like how the color scheme of everything in this area is very like well thought out. Like just this, there's this pastel kind of quality to it. This looks like some kind of shop. It also looks like a house, hair salon. Really like the architecture, beautiful work here on the details. Even though they're just normal maps and aligned textures, it's really well done. Wow, my avatar just like launched inside. It's a nice plant. Yeah, so philosophy is like a living science. I mean, I'm really reticent to call it a science because it deals so much with thought and feeling and subjective sort of stuff. Oh god, gotcha. Horrible. If I never saw that word ever again, it would be too soon. But despite that fact, I have to study all these aesthetically appealing assets. God, look at the details on this thing. It's done in like a really balanced, tasteful way, not like in a tacky, excessive way either. This tassel, like every single frond is articulated. Oh cool, there's like stuff underneath. Look at this lavender bushel, that's pretty awesome. Little herb baskets. Look at that, the stamens and pestils are all articulated. That's pretty fantastic. What those little particles are floating above the tea. Oh, the powdered sugar on the French toast there, that's pretty awesome. I don't know what those are. Meanwhile, there's just two like randos outside having sex, or trying to have sex at least. Pretty hilarious. Nice bookshelf. or curio shelf or whatever. Polyester partridge. It's a cool prop. Yeah, so the bottom line of what I was getting around to is that philosophy is like a living study, and I feel like it's kind of useless if it doesn't evolve and continue to explore like the extremes, the fringes of conceptualization and moral and intellectual quandaries, consciousness. Like all of these subjects, they're not static. Man, this is a tremendous texture job on this right here. Onsu. I'm like just amazed at how like you're just a little bit ways away and it looks so real. When you zoom in, you can see the pixelization, but the fact that it's baked so well, all those subtle details pop, and it just looks so real. It's really impressive. So yeah, this is just some kind of shop. Looks like pretty much like almost all shops in Second Life follow this pattern or formula where like the majority of the things that are sold are for avatars, like avatar accessories, like fashion stuff or hair, clothes. It's really tragic, I think, personally, just as someone who builds props most of the time. That's pretty cool, that sheet of paper. It's all part of this, God, look at that, like the way the color of the lemons is reflected on the colander. That's just so aesthetically appealing to me. Like that mirror's cool too, cat mirror. Who doesn't like skulls? Juliet Westerberg. God, like everything I've looked at so far has been by a different person, and they've all been kind of equally impressive, so that's pretty cool. It's a sophisticated interactive prize dispersal system. It's hard for me to tell what they're even selling here. The pictures are so vague. Like what? Fitted mesh, solid or two-tone? I guess it's the hair, and I think it's... Oh yeah, of course, because it's a salon. Duh. Yeah, I should have taken a note from the signboard out front. So I guess this place sells mostly hair and stuff like that. This is a really nice touch how they have the like plastic sheeting that goes over the plant to increase the humidity. This is actually kind of a real botany type thing. Bratty dorky. Some tropical plants need like higher humidity than you'll find like where you want to grow them. Like if you live in California, it's not really the same as like the jungles of Borneo. So if you're trying to grow some kind of like exotic Borneo botanical in California, you may need to like cover it with plastic to increase the humidity. That's kind of funny that oh, that's pretty cool. Just gonna wait for this to res. God, beautiful bake job on all these assets. Just really incredible. Like you can tell they're perfectly optimized for like LODs and poly count and texture application, so that it's using the just the right amount of resources while providing the maximum amount of functional realism, which is something that really takes a lot of skill to achieve as a 3D artist. Well, I think I've seen just about everything in here. I'm kind of curious to know what's upstairs since it's roped off. It's probably just empty. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of what I was saying the other day about how 80-90% of the internal structure of builds in Second Life is wasted because people rarely, if ever, actually go up to the top of a building in Second Life. Everything of interest is on the first floor. Just kind of curious. So I'm just gonna walk around this town or whatever. Actually, I should do an eagle eye here to see what's going on. Okay, so they took like the max density approach for this sim, where basically they have a whole sim at their disposal, but they only put like 1 or 2 buildings on it so that they can put the maximum amount of items within those 1 or 2 buildings. Which actually, it's a really smart strategy, as opposed to just having like a huge land area with like sporadic placements of objects. That most of which people aren't even gonna see, because they're just gonna like stay in the general vicinity of the landing point and not be like wandering around like I do. Like the way I navigate Sims, I think, is pretty atypical and weird, but mainly that's because I have an entirely different agenda than most Second Lifers. That's kind of cute. Not really a dog person, but I like the build itself aside from that. Siamese helping itself to the hot dog. Man, look at that bun. One of the nicest things about the restrictions for builders that Second Life has is that if you're making a really small prop, like just one tiny little thing, the smaller it is, the more like texture information you have at your disposal when it comes to like ease of building. Because you've got 1024 by 1024 pixels. That's pretty much the total limit of your texture capacity, and there's only so much information you can fit into that space. But if you're making a really small thing like a straw, for example, or like a mason jar, that's actually a lot of information, a lot more than you need to create a photorealistic texture. It's only when you get into larger builds that it becomes a serious problem and liability, where like basically you just can't effectively texture like a building, for example, without breaking it up into many, many small sections, which then all have to be individually textured and fitted together in order to get your photorealism or heightened realism. These are nice assets. And trust me, that's like the biggest pain in the ass ever, unless you have like some kind of foolproof workflow. I'm sensing a trend here. These pug dogs, like the mascot of the establishment. Looks like they even have little collectible bobblehead doll things. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the more I think about it, though, the more it makes sense to me. Like, if you're going to be a builder in Second Life, and you want to make it work economically, the best choice you can ever make is to make small, articulate accessories for avatars. That's pretty cool. A little crossbow. Someone had fun making those. Gotta admit, even though I don't like dogs, I really like those. Oh, cool. I clicked on this and it started spinning. That's pretty neat. Postcard mobile. So this is a nice build so far. This sim. I'm impressed. Someone doing their laundry over here. Nutmegs. Oh wow, look at this brush. That is so cool. Every bristle is articulated. Haha, that's beautiful. Yeah, let's see who made this. Eva Zenga. Oh, whoa. That was weird. I started walking up the stairs and I just like, there's no clicky clack sound. So the physics mesh is probably a ramp. That's kind of cool because normally you walk upstairs in Second Life and your avatar makes this really horrible clicky clacky sound every step. But if your physics mesh is a ramp, you don't run into that particular problem, which is cool. Little details like that. And also it's a lot lower impact to make a ramp than it is to go with stairs too. You'll save a few prims that way. It's kind of funny to still be referring to them as prims when it's like prims are like this vestigial element of Second Life nowadays. You don't. Almost everything is mesh, at least on these more like quality sims. I mean, I've seen people do mind-blowing stuff with prims, so they're definitely. It's really more about the artist than it is the technology, the underlying technology. But certainly, I feel like it's much easier to make things that look a lot more impressive using I like to write on stuff. Lobster cock. Let there be lobster cock. Oh, whoa, this glass texture is interesting. It takes a long time for all the little details to load. All the textures to resin stuff. That's a pretty cool build. Little beer shack. Alright, I went into the bakery. Ah, here we got like a farmer's market. This is fascinating. This is something I've actually done in real life. Run one of these farmer's market stands. And grew all the food too. Oh, look at that. Spring onions. Beautiful. Zucchini. Artichokes, tomatoes. Wow, those tomatoes are nicely articulated. Lettuce. Eggplant, mushrooms, cauliflower, peppers, potatoes, leeks. This is a cool build. Dust bunny. Ah, blueberries, speak of the devil. Yeah, blueberries are really a lot more challenging to grow than you might imagine, because like I was referencing that article earlier, but like when they first tried to cultivate them, they had a lot of trouble because they thought, oh, it'll be just like any other plant. We put it in like beautiful, fertile soil, we pamper them, and they will flourish and thrive. But in reality, blueberries are like a bog plant that grows best in highly acidic soil, which back in the day before they really fully understood the science of botany and diversity of plants and the very environments that they inhabited. Um, they didn't realize that something could grow in such extremely acidic swamp-like conditions. So they were surprised when they put all these blueberry plants into what they thought of as the perfect environment for something like that to thrive, and they all died and they couldn't figure it out. And it was only until like a long time later that somebody actually was a little bit observant and put two and two together and was like, oh well, if we maybe if we try to grow the blueberries in the same environment that they are growing in naturally, we'll have better luck. And that's exactly what they did. And that's how the blueberry industry started, at least in the United States. Into the manager's office. So yeah, when you're preparing the ideal environment for blueberries, you want to treat the soil in a very specific way, and ideally, if you can, you want to find a place, a location that is more bog-like than not. And then what you need to do is acidify the soil and change the pH, and there's a lot of ways to do that. Probably the fastest and most trouble-free is to add sulfur, like granulated sulfur, to the soil to make it more acidic. This is a really cool structure here. This like how uneven all, oh god, apple fall, god damn it. How uneven all the boards are and the railing and stuff. It looks pretty cool. There's a little island over there. Oh no, it's one of those whale things. You know, this was amazing the first time I saw this, but now it's just like old hat. Every time I see one of these, I'm like, oh, it's just another one of those whales. Even though it's like one of the coolest things I've ever seen in Second Life. Okay, looks like there's one more thing over here and around back. There's like a motorhome. Yeah, so our technique at our garden for growing blueberries is to use redwood needles, redwood duff, to acidify the soil. It's kind of an elegant hack for various reasons, because dad and breakfast, huh? For one, redwood needles are plentiful on the north coast. Wow, look at the detail on these window levers. This is pretty fantastic. Wow, even the little like peg holes are articulated, but not excessively. Like, it's a fairly low poly, like elegant articulation. Pretty cool. That looks very comfortable. Yeah, so you can get redwood needles basically for free in Northern California, as much as you want. And then you can bury them in your soil, or work them into your soil, and they break down very slowly over time, because the acidity actually helps prevent decomposition, because acidity in general causes microorganisms to like not be as enthusiastic when it comes to breaking down. It's just like a Totoro. It's a cool little bird. Yeah, fungi, and yeah, it's basically a weird Totoro. Most soil builders don't like acid, which is very interesting, because acid is so common in in natural environments. So yeah, the redwood needles, they break down over time, nourishing the soil and changing the pH to a level that blueberries find more agreeable. It's a little phone booth full of books. This is curious. Blueberries also like loose soil with a lot of organic material, like chunks of rotting wood and stuff like that. Oh, whoa, that's pretty interesting. I really like this fog in the atmosphere. I don't know how they like generated this effect. I'm just assuming it's some kind of like structure that I can't see, or particles, or I don't know, but it's neat. It really adds a lot of like atmosphere to the environment. It's kind of cool. Looks like something out of Fallout. Like equally creepy and cool. Let's see who made this. Nomad. Pura. Oh yeah, let me copy and paste the SL URL into the chat. I just noticed somebody left a comment. Star Pugs Cafe. Yeah, I don't know. Witchby. I've never heard of it before, so it very well could be. You can check it out yourself by visiting the sim. Really nice job on the landscaping with the trees and stuff. Oh yeah, let's see. Here's the sign up here. Let's see if it's Star Pugs. God, I'm like stuck in the foliage. Oh come on! How much of these trees? Okay, it's just called Pug Cafe, so I don't know if that's the same as Star Pugs or not. Number 8, apparently. Well, this sim was pretty quick. Let's see, I've been streaming for 32 minutes, so that's about half my usual time. I think I have enough time to visit another sim, which is fine by me because even though I was exhausted earlier, I've actually regained a little bit of my vitality after spending some time in Second Life. Wow, this is a beautiful job on this pole. Let's see who did those. Aki69. Pretty cool. Alright, gonna go back to playing planes. And bring up the world map. So yeah, that was a cool sim. Definitely worth visiting. I just never know what I'm gonna find. God, Peculiar always draws my eye, and I've been there already, and it's actually just so not peculiar in any way. Maybe someday it will be. My cat's come to help me stream. Mango, no walkie on the keyboard. We used to make jokes about him when we first got him, that he was like a hacker or something, because he'd walk on my keyboard and like crazy things would happen to my computer. And I'm saying this as being someone who was like in the tech industry for over a decade and like understands the intricacies of computers. Like he would do really weird stuff with just a few key presses. Like he started opening an email account once and like got to the point where he was actually like filling out the form just from walking on the keyboard, which was very curious. Another time, he turned my screen grayscale, which I didn't know that was actually a thing you could do in Windows until he activated it accidentally. But yeah, there's actually a command, a keyboard command that you can put into Windows to turn everything grayscale. Don't ask me why. It could be like a disability like thing for people with color blindness or something. I don't know, honestly. But it's something you can actually do. And I couldn't figure out how to turn it off. I actually had to do a bunch of research to find out how to switch it off. Okay, Metavera. I'm going to see if I can go here. Nope, nope, nope. Actually, before I do that, though, I'm going to start flying. So when I do go to a sim, I'm going to be able to fly around, not have to walk like a scrub. Greeter Island, property search. Foxtrot. I feel like I might have been here at one point. This sounds like a military type sim, probably like a combat sim. I'm gonna try this out. Well, this is definitely different. Wow, I got booted instantly. That was pretty cool. There was no like warning message or anything. Just like a immediate boot. That was kind of cool. It could be like a VR training ground for elite super soldiers or something. Yeah, you know that like evolutionary thing about like all the monkeys in the room with the typewriters and like how long would it take for them to randomly recreate one of Shakespeare's plays? That's kind of how I think about my cat. He has like some special magic paws that for whatever reason when he puts his paws on the keyboard, magic happens and there are consequences. Alright, the Crimson Crow. Gonna try this. Nope. 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 Damn, just striking out today. Bounty Bay. The Legend Land. It's a black box, but it looks kind of intriguing. An intriguing shade of olive drab. No valid parcel found. I really like this feature of the viewer map where when you click on a sim and you try to teleport there and you get bounced. Alright, let's try Pixel Bits. When you go back to the map, the last place that you selected is still selected, so you can find your way back there immediately, which is, I think, a really cool sort of feature. It's a subtle quality of life thing, but it's awesome. Let's click bloody dinosaur tracks. Alright, let's see what we got here. Interesting. So, medieval structures, some kind of atrium sort of thing there. What's this? Race schedule. Oh, it's like a dinosaur racing sim. You like race velociraptors or something? That's kind of cool. And there's like a feeding station for them, I guess. Oh yeah, let me change the environment settings. Yeah, see, look at how much better that is. Now you can like see everything. I don't know why so many sim creators set their default lighting scheme to like 9 p.m. Like, it doesn't make sense. It just really detracts, I think, from the overall experience. We got like a money changing station. Over here we've got the blacksmith, woodworker's workbench, I guess. Yeah, woodworking, not really blacksmith. Maybe a crafting station that lets you... This is like a full RP sim where you can like... It's like an experience type thing. So here we have the blacksmith station. Have a medieval sim without a blacksmith. We got the still going on. Looks like potato vodka or something. Just gonna follow the raptor tracks. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza. It's a cool fish. So yeah, not super realistic in terms of asset quality, but there can be a lot of other reasons to visit one of these sims. This actually reminds me of one of the first videos I did of a sim tour, like quite a while back. This was back when I was doing it semi-regularly, and then I kind of stopped for a long time, and then I started up again, and then I went to this one like RP sim that was very similar to this, only it didn't have a dinosaur theme. They were just regular horses and stuff. Okay, tavern. I have to admit I have sort of like a bias when I go into a sim like this. After visiting like the sim that I just went to where all the assets were really high quality, and I'm like just looking at the quality of the assets on the sim, and it's kind of like offending my eyes a little. I don't mean to sound elitist about it, but it's like the level of quality, the difference is so vast that it actually almost hurts to see assets that are like about 1/10 the quality. So this is like the lodge hall where the leader lives. This reminds me very much of the Skyrim buildings, only without ambient occlusion or good texture bakes. But you know, on the other hand, like probably one person built most of this, and that would be pretty impressive. Okay, so there's basically nothing in here, even though there's a stairway going to the upper story. There's one going down too. Looks like a generic pirate ship fleet. Oh, this is cool. Well, I've never seen this in Second Life ever. This is really cool. It's like a shipyard where they're actually building a ship. That is super cool. So they've got like the ship under construction here, and then they have the ships that have been built over here. Even though they're just props, there's nothing inside. There's nothing inside of them. It's still pretty awesome. So yeah, I've never seen a shipyard in Second Life. That's neat. just flew right past this building right here. Okay, so there's a windmill powering some gears. Okay, so it's like a sawmill powered by the wind. Oh, whoa. Man, this is pretty sophisticated. I'm like fairly impressed. This board sawing. That's neat. Wow, the whole thing is like realistically mechanically engineered with working gears and stuff. I wonder if it uses Second Life's wind system to, I think it's just scripted to turn at a consistent speed, but that's pretty cool. Let's see who built this. LA. It's a good name for someone building a pirate shipyard. Now this is like a staple of these RP sims, these medieval RP sims. There's always like a farmland. You know, because you gotta grow your crops to feed your velociraptor or make your potato vodka or whatever. Oh, this is cool. This is like a swamp kind of environment pond. Needs fertilizer, huh? Looks like the fields are kind of fallow. This greenhouse was the thing that interested me the most, so I'm gonna just fly right over there. So it doesn't actually seem like a greenhouse, although here's some trees. What's this? Cocoa tree? Cool. Okay, so there's multiple cocoa trees. One of them is a lot more realistic than the other. Actually, it looks completely different. Here's all the stuff that you can buy, I guess, or potentially use for free. Like the HUDs to become part of the role-playing experience. I thought for sure there'd be something exciting in here, but oh, there's these little like alcoves there's a banana tree. That's pretty cool. It's really cool, actually. Ice Dover really like upped their skills over the years. You can see the extreme difference between that and the cocoa plants down below, which seemed like starting out really low fidelity and then just worked their way up. And these are scripted to actually have like maintenance and care and stuff conducted on them, which is kind of cool. So yeah, more conceptual than actually complete, in my opinion. Terraforming is pretty sloppy, but admittedly the terraforming tools in Second Life are about as hard as they get. Okay. Mr. Clicky Bird Bath, huh? Little water tank. So there's an RP HUD. One of these days, you know, I'm actually gonna have to like try one of these RP sims out, because honestly I've never tried any RP stuff out in Second Life. I just kind of always assumed it would be a horrendously challenging and unpleasant experience, so I never like... Oh god, those are like the fakest looking apple trees I've ever seen. Although that's an orange tree. Whew. But I'm the kind of person who feels like you should at least give things a try once before you make up your mind. So maybe I will. Guardian Barum. It's a pretty nice chicken coop. Guess I can't go in. I don't have the key. So this is like the aristocrat mansion. You have to have status to get in here. That's the second well I've seen today. Going forward, I'm just gonna refer to those as wishing wells. I think I could teleport inside this house. You know, I'm not really sure because I don't think I've ever tried this before. But like, theoretically, a locked house is just... the outer doors are locked. Let's see if I can actually just teleport inside. Whoa. Okay, so I teleported and it dropped me back at the landing point. So that's sort of a way around that security hack. Interesting. So yeah, okay, so there's like the diplomatic guild house or whatever, and then like up on the top of the hill looks like the real Lord's Manor. Hey, Scarlatti, I just noticed your chat. That's creepy as hell. It's like a cherub in a bird cage. God, baby baths are like a big thing. Like, I had no idea. I know nothing about child rearing, just like the most vaguest things, but having seen several children's rooms and baby rooms, like nurseries, in Second Life now, I'm getting the sense that baby baths are like a big aspect of that. Guess you spend a lot of time washing your filthy children. That's kind of a cool seat. Like, look at this. They even put like the tag on there. That's a pretty cool attention to detail. Mesh beanbag chairs. God, I wonder why so many of the older constructs were Fulbright. Like, it never looks good. So it seems like only a fraction of the rooms are actually populated with items. Oh, so this door is open. So I can just fly around and go in through the back, I guess, if I really want to just walk through the building. Let's try. Yeah, so much for security. Maybe maybe flying is also turned off for this sim. That's weird. Some of the doors are locked and some aren't. That's pretty sloppy. Makes sense that you'd lock up the nursery, though. So, spinning wheel, looms. That's cool. This is also like a staple of these medieval RPing sims. Look at these weird cactuses. Like a little cactus in a jar. This is bizarre. What's the deal with this? I guess they're just table ornaments. Kind of random though. What the fuck? Okay, time to go to the main attraction on the sim. So we got your grapevines, Spaliade. Doesn't look so hot. Those bird baths are everywhere. Kind of a cool little staircase. Yeah, I feel like this whole sim was inspired partially by Skyrim. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they even used some textures from Skyrim in here. So like a Viking temple or something. It's kind of an obnoxious maze with some sculptures. Man, I thought there was going to be something special in here. What the hell? Wow, all of that, like... I have to fly in there, you know. Oh, that really is the top, huh? Huh. Crazy. Yeah, so it looks more interesting from the outside, that's for sure. I'm gonna fly up really high and see if there's anything I missed. But I don't think I did. Oh wow, that Aurora Borealis sure is cool. Why didn't I see that from below? Oh, probably because I changed the brightness setting on the sim. Let me see if oh yeah, it's a lot more visible with the default setting. Well, not super more visible. But that's a cool effect, and like I have no idea how they achieve that in Second Life. Like I don't know if that's a sim setting or some kind of like second party or third party thing that you can install. Yeah, so anyway, surprisingly, not a lot of stuff going on in the sim. Like, kind of surprised for an RPing sim. I would have expected more like people moving around or something. So it looks like they have a website and all sorts of crazy stuff. It's fascinating. Oh, this is a gore sim. Oh my god. I can't believe the whole time I was wandering around and this is a gore sim. Yeah, do yourself a favor and don't look up gore. You'll just be disturbed and dismayed. It's pretty much like one of the most sexist things in Second Life. And like, it's an RPing experience that's been around for forever. Yeah, it's horrible. Anyway, still kind of an interesting sim to tour. And 59 minutes, wow, and 25 seconds. So I think I'm gonna call it quits for today. Sorry I missed a couple of days there, but you know, life is what happens when you're making other plans. And yeah, have a good week. Yo Toy Story signing off.